Rajanjurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadisai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second-raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies tried holder and keep voice. They had no other choice. They even tried with Newton Dow, but a shot at the sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Little Desmond Lewis, also Charlie Davis, they take a little shame from out we face. But Sobers as a captain, he won plenty coaching before we cricket end up in a disgrace. Beatty here that he became a father, he catch out Holford in the cover. But when Sobers here, he too had a son. He made duck and went back in the pavilion. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Good afternoon to all our ardent listeners and supporters of this good station. Good afternoon to those listening to us far and wide. And good morning, I should say, to those in Africa, places like the other part of the world. Those listeners from Miami, or favorite listener from Miami, Chicago, London, good evening. Today we want to introduce you to, well, three of us will be here today. Three umpires will be here today. This is the third umpire show, and where we discuss a number of issues, critical issues that affect Trinidad and Tobago, affect citizens, affect how we live, how social services, how all the elements of governance are dispensed to us as citizens. We discuss those issues, we analyze the issues, and we bring them to you. And we allow for you to chime in and give us your take on how you see things. Good afternoon also to, and congratulations to all those students who would have written the CXC examination, and which is a critical part of our education system as we know it today, and who would have been successful one way or the other in those exams. I was talking to a parent a little earlier on today, and she was telling me that her daughter got her 5 O-levels, and she was so happy. And albeit she was disappointed about some other areas of the exams that she wasn't so successful. But you know, I tell her that, you know, success is usually littered. The road to success is usually littered with, you know, a number of failures. I myself would have had to go through, you know, some era or period of failings, and you know, all of us do from time to time. So failure is just a part of it. So good afternoon to all those who would have written that exam or those exams and was successful in it. And those of you who didn't do so well, I mean, you have another chance, or you have a number of chances again. You can take a try at it again. It is part of our education system, and to some extent it is a milestone crossed in the life of young people in the secondary education system. So that is something, and those are things that of course we will be looking at from time to time. We usually do touch on education as a major pillar of development in Trinidad and Tobago on this program, and from time to time we will talk about it, including examinations and that kind of thing. So yes, good evening to those who would have written the exams, CXC, and I think officially the results is coming out. It's going to be published tomorrow, but I think schools and school principals for the most part would have received them today, and so students who would have written those exams would have gotten their results. And I know some people are very, very elated, some people are a bit disappointed by how they do, but I mean, you could try and come again. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And yesterday we had a very good show. We had a number of new callers for which we encourage from time to time. And we will be encouraging you to chime in on the show a little later on, so that you can be part of the discussion, you can be part of the analysis as we do our match report and as we umpire the game. We look on this show, we look at both teams. We look at the baton side, who we usually characterize as the government, or the government, who we usually characterize as the baton side, and that is the government in office. And the other part of the government, which is the opposition, they are usually characterized as the feeling side on this show. And this show is named the Third Umpires. So what we do is we do critical analysis, sometimes not in depth, but we look at issues in the news, we look at issues around us, we look at geopolitical issues and how they affect Trinidad and Tobago, and we discuss them. Today I would have with me our female umpire who will be in studio with us, and we also have one of our male umpires who will call in on the radio shortly also, and we will be discussing the issues. One of the issues that is in the news more so today is the issue of the young man, the child that died at the hospital, and in relation to some say it was incorrect medication. I don't know not too sure what the autopsy said, but that, and I just want to talk about those things too much, because those things are so, I think the results on that is still probably undecided still, because I know there were two autopsy reports, and I understand there might be a third, and therefore the country needs to hear what exactly happened. There are a lot of ideas and a lot of words, or a lot of information bandied around as to what really happened in this instance, but we have a serious problem with, maybe we have a management problem, and we say this all the time probably as management experts. We would see this more as a management problems in a management situation, a management shortfall, or some would say an HR problem in the hospitals, and not just the hospital, but all areas, all elements of our system, all areas, education also. And these things are plaguing. These things are sometimes cause death, result in death. And this is the situation, or this may be the situation with the death of the young man, or the little boy at the hospital a few days ago. That is not to say that these things don't happen anyway. I think I think it is Argentina. I was looking at the news some days ago, and 87 persons would have died in hospitals by fentanyl contaminated drugs. fentanyl contaminated drugs, 87% there. Right now in Argentina, there's protest action as a result of that. So all these things are things that the fraternity sometimes would need to look at. The drugs that are coming. I'm always amazed by, you know, looking at international advertisements and things, and you see sometimes these international pharma companies advertising drugs, and they will usually tell you they would usually give you disclaimers, and they would usually tell you all in the advertisement for the drug, or the use of the drug. They will tell you all the possible side effects of that drugs. Now, when you go by a doctor in Trinidad, you might be suffering from multiple conditions, some of which you don't even know, some of which you have not been tested for, some of which the drugs that they give you may interact with certain enzymes or certain other things in your body that could cause other more serious problems. But you does not, in no way, you does know that, and the doctors don't tell you that here. Sometimes you have to Google it, and sometimes when you Google it, you get scared. You don't even want to use that drugs. But that is the reality of the situation in Trinidad and Tobago. And because there is really nobody to take responsibility, nobody get locked up for that, nobody, they give you drugs, you use it. They don't even know that might have been the reason that caused the failure of your heart or your liver or something, your pancreas or something. And you probably die. Nobody's held responsible for that. So that is the story in Trinidad and Tobago, and sometimes if you don't have the right kind of connection, the right kind of for investigation, the issue didn't titillate the imagination of the politician at the time, then you just become a statistic, and that too is sad. When we think about what is happening in the world today, when we think about what is happening in relation to development and new ideas, I mean, you see things like, I think is Elon Musk. Right now they are developing a chip the size of a coin that they put in your head that interacts with AI, help your brain interact with AI, so it become a supercomputer just like that, and it is already it's not just research, it has gone past that. They're already doing it. I think in Great Britain Great Britain has given the approval for the research or for the trials to be used in Britain, and China is also exploring similar kind of scientific innovation with AI and the interaction with human beings. So all these things are things that this is where the world has gone. We, however, we are still dispensing things like drugs and that kind of thing, and without investigating exactly how it interacts with your body, how it interacts with other elements of or illness or other situation or conditions that you may be experiencing. And therefore those things are critical, those things are of major concern. And while we talk a lot about development and how we move in Trinidad and Tobago to the next level, we also have to consider those things, because those things are things that hinders us, hinders growth, hinders how we operate and how we grow as a society. Those things are also critical. So today we look at a multiplicity of issues, and we would like you to chime in, share your views on the issues, share your views on what we would have said, share your views for the tone we have set in moving forward. Yesterday, before I left, we were talking about productivity, and we were talking about how the transportation system in particular is one element that could, you know, sometimes when we talk about productivity, we only talk about the employer and the employee, not looking outwards to see how the national infrastructure in a significant way would also impact on things like productivity. And you know, so one just has to come out on the road probably around 7 o'clock in the morning, anywhere on the east-west corridor or the north-south corridor, to see the effects of productivity on the road, the kind of massive traffic jam, right? When with people trying to 3 hours on the road trying to get to work, trying to get to Port of Spain, or trying to get to different places throughout the country for work, that if you did not know, that also affects productivity. And just to say, just solving or fixing one small minute element of that, you can save this country or probably put more millions of dollars into the revenue by just doing that. So sometimes as citizens, when we hear the government talk about road and road network and transportation network and rapid rail and all that, we think about the monies that has to be spent. But if peradventure we had a rapid rail here, when the issue of rapid rail came up a couple of years ago, I am almost sure we would have been in a better, we would have been able to report a better situation with regards to productivity, and the cost of that would have already been wiped out by the amount of money we would have made, this country would have made, right? Because at the time, I think they were talking about something like in the vicinity of $2 billion or something like that to do the rapid rail system. This is a small country. If you see what they do in other places with road and transportation networks, underground tunnels, rapid rail running over the highways, rapid rail running through airports, you know, if you see what is done in other countries, it will amaze you. And these things, when you compare the benefits, when you do the cost-benefit analysis, a real cost-benefit analysis, not a real cost-benefit analysis, where you look at toll, how much toll will generate, how much revenue will generate from that, how much revenue will generate with, you do time and motion studies, you will see how much money will generate from people reaching to work earlier, people getting more rest, you know, you having to wake up probably 4 o'clock in the morning to come to work for 8:30, right, just to be able to reach on time. All of that takes a toll on society in many, many different ways. How early you reach home from work to take care of your kids, to assign certain things for your family, right? To cook a decent meal without being burnt out and feeling tired, to get adequate rest. All those things impact in a significant way on productivity. And we have to start seeing things like that. We have to start in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm glad, a couple of days ago, when the Prime Minister, the captain of the Baton side, she would have made her presentation on their 100 days anniversary. I listened to one of the things she said, and she spoke a lot about transportation, and she said that we will be happy to see the kind of transportation network that will be set up at the end of 5 years. And I too am looking forward to that, because to me that will do a lot for changing the way we see employment and productivity in Trinidad and Tobago, and that to a large extent will help all of us in our development. So these are things that, all these are things as key pillars in our development and how we move forward, where we go, how fast we get there, the efficiency, the quality of life, the quality of relationships in the workplace because I like to talk about that all the time. That's my forte. I like to talk about things like productivity. I see things in a way that if everybody's happy in the workplace, employer and employee, then what we will have more than likely is we will have more productivity, we will have more happiness, more money, more revenue being made, because everybody is working synergistically and everything is working in the way it should work, like like what happens in real societies. So that being said, I would like you, of course, to chime in, call us. Let's hear what you have to say. Let's hear what you have to say in relation to that, what I've just said, in relation to the healthcare system, because that too is a peripheral element in the whole productivity. If people are healthy, if people are have access to good health care and that kind of thing, and are confident in the healthcare system, that too will promote a certain kind of healthy working people and healthy working lives, and that too will boost to some extent our productivity and how we live. So our healthcare system is something that maybe I would say in Trinidad and Tobago, to a large extent, we have a pretty solid healthcare system, right? It is akin to what I've seen in some other countries. The only thing is that the attitude of the people working in the system is a lot to be desired. There's a lot to be desired from just looking at the attitude. Sometimes you go there and there's no urgency. There's no sometimes you wonder, even not just the health system, I guess it's a kind of work thing with people, but in Trinidad and Tobago is how we somehow we're more interested in pay. We're more interested in pay. Well, don't talk about when month end coming. We're more interested in pay than understanding the real reason why we are in the workplace. Why the real reason why you are in my place is so that both of us could benefit from the relationship, right? I could get your productivity and I pay you well for it, right? And you know that also reminds me that I should talk about the compensation and compensating people for work. I was telling my fellow empire some time ago, we always had that discussion that whenever things like trade union and things negotiate pay, they sometimes just look at more money because things are getting harder, and their thesis is that things are getting harder, the cost of living is going up, and we should pay people a respectable income for the work that they put out, or not for the work that they put out, but for the position that they hold. My position on that is good, but I prefer to pay you an acceptable salary for the performance that you give me. And to me, that is what we or trade unions should be looking at when you started do things like collective bargaining negotiations and that kind of thing. Pay for performance, in my opinion, is probably one of the most critical elements of the negotiation system, the negotiation. Because if on one hand you are telling me, because we are in 2025 and the price of flour is X, I should get more money. The reason why the price of flour is X is because there's a greater demand for it, and there might be a scarcity in the production or the transportation or it reaching to your table. And what causes that in most cases is that we may have less people working or less people doing what they should be doing. So maybe the price of things will go down if we have better productivity. And if you have better productivity, of course, I just showing you the domino effects. If you have better productivity, what will happen, and this basic economics, what will happen, obviously, employers will be making more revenue, and then therefore they will have more money to be able to pay you. So all these things, and breaking it down really nice and slow for you, all these things, they are derivatives of each other, and they have a cascading effect on each other. One of the things is that if we understand how the thing work, if we work harder, more than likely we would, and your employers are ethical, more than likely you should be able to get more money, because of course your employer will be making more money and there will be more productivity. That's just basic. So these are things that us working together as citizens, understanding those basic things, we could obviously develop Trinidad and Tobago in a different way. And so I heard the politicians, I heard the Prime Minister to a large extent would have spoken about that. And let me just welcome our female umpire on the show, and she is now joining us this evening. Good evening, Samoya. I don't know if you was listening in. I was talking a lot about productivity and why we need to work harder, so that, and I know this is your forte too, you could talk a lot about that, why we need to work harder, why we need to channel Trinidad and Tobago in a different direction, a different mindset. You know, we just need to understand, listen, if you travel, if you go abroad and things, and you see how the same people who live here, how hard they work to be able to earn an income to live properly, you'll be amazed. because the same thing they didn't want to do here, they're doing it comfortably. They're falling in line, they're standing up by the traffic light, then running across the road crazy because they know they'll get knocked down. all the things we don't do here, they do it happily. You do it happily over there. So good evening. You say a piece, no?
Good evening, everyone. So yes, as I was coming up, I heard the discussion, and the thing about productivity too. What we don't think about, it's part of national pride.
Yes.
That's who we are.
It is.
You know, and that's the kind of brand that you want to have. I hear people when they come from the States, they say, well, you know, the States is so much this way, there's that, all the things, all the benefits that come out of productivity. And there's a sense of pride.
Yeah. But you know, when we talk about the States and we talk about Trinidad and we talk about productivity, you see, while some, you know, I work on both sides. I work for the employers. Most of my clients are employers, but I also work for trade unions. And one of the things you will always hear is that from the employers is that, listen, these people, we had to have this kind of system, but this system not working, the cost unfair. In a lot of ways, the court listen to what the employee say. We can't just fire an employee just like that. But in the States, it's not like that. In the States, if you're not working, we don't have to tell you. You know, we have a system called employment at will. So I employ you to do something. I pay you accordingly on an agreed pay. And if I see you not doing it for whatever reason, I send you home, right? I just don't like how you're working, I send you home. That is not how it works in Trinidad and Tobago. So to a large extent, there are those who the school of thought that say, well, because of the system, because of that system that protects our worker to a large extent, is the reason why we just not getting any kind of productivity, because there are so many hurdles an employer has to jump through to get a worker to do what he or she is supposed to do, and therefore it becomes difficult for an employer to discipline a worker or to try to get what he, but you should not have discipline a worker to get productivity. There are interventions, of course, you will know, that could be used to promote that productivity and that kind of thing in the workplace. And one of them is, you have engagement activities. You have, well, of course, mentorship and coaching and all that kind of thing. But what do you have to say on that?
For me, why people shy away from that topic of productivity is because it means there's supposed to be accountability on both ends. So while the management or the employers are holding the employees accountable, they also will be held accountable. Number one, you always talk about the right to have started.
Yeah, sorry. We won't hear you, Simon.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. So the topic of productivity, we are saying that it requires accountability on both ends, right? So while the employers or the management team are saying, we want to hold the employees accountable, they need to be able to do this and this to qualify for productivity. It means that they also have to be accountable on their end. You talk about the employers needing to create a safe work environment, first of all. Putting things in place to ensure that your employees, your staff feel safe to carry out the duties, making sure they have the right tools, making sure that the psychology of the organization is one that it fosters learning, development, mistakes. All of that, for me, contributes to how much a staff will be productive and engaged.
Section 6 of the
Section 6 of the Act. So we neglect that part of it. There is a fundamental element of responsibility on the employer's side to ensure that they provide all the tools necessary. Apart from that, sometimes the terms and conditions that they provide, you see that line, we always talk about that and all other related duties as required.
You know, I was having a real argument with,
with that line, because it's subject to interpretation.
Yeah, it's subject, but you can't write everything in a job description.
You can't.
So you have to have some of that in it. Let me
Somebody
hear
call it.
Yeah, no, Ronaldo was calling, so maybe you call back. Yeah, well, what I'm saying, that and you're making a good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
there has to be accountability on all ends. You can't.
So what are you saying with respect to that?
With respect to that, I'm saying in order to bring about that productivity and that pride and quality of work, both sides have to play a part.
Let me take Ronaldo. Yeah. Good evening, Ronaldo. I know you'd want to say, as a member of the third umpires, I know you'd want to say your part. Good evening.
Good evening, and I'm listening. Good evening to the nation, and I'm listening and watching you and umpire Simoya, they go at it in terms of productivity and accountability, and that is where I would jump in. I know you maybe were wearing the HR hat, but I want to wear the IR hat, and also add to that. The part of the problem we face is the unequal distribution of wealth.
Yes.
So no matter how hard some workers work, it will never be on parity with what they earn.
And that's why we were talking about the ethics.
Look at the banking sector.
That's why we were talking about the ethics of
the banking sector.
Understanding.
Declares billions and millions in profit. And the workers still have to fight and march. So the two must go together.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
Productivity
100%.
and distribution.
100%. And therefore, that to a large extent, maybe it should have some kind of matrix.
Yeah.
With the relationship between revenue and what is paid to workers as a salary, as an expenditure for the employer.
Yeah.
That somehow something has to happen so that workers must feel mandated employers must feel mandated to compensate workers in the way they should be compensated without being told, without having to put over the head minimum wage and all that kind of thing. I mean, in the US in particular, the US employment is demand and supply thing, So people, if you could pay a worker better than me. If I could pay a worker better than you, the worker will come by me. So it's a competitive thing.
Yeah.
But we still have to have a minimum wage order to be able to tell people that this is what you have to pay. And big, huge companies making billions of dollars in profit, they still want to pay. So the salaries is 3%.
Correct.
Of all the
the
expenses for the month, and to me is really unfair.
That's correct, especially if they have big displays of expenditure going on. You're adding on, you're opening new branches and all these things, and yet you're saying to the union, we cannot afford to increase salaries. So people would look at those things, and the productivity will obviously drop because it's like you're playing in the face, right?
I don't want to. I know we talk a lot about sexual harassment, but you look rather pretty today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matheson. I have to come on here and represent.
Those people looking at you today, they'll say, "Ooh, he's a nice chicken side way."
Well, thank you very much. I also want to stir you on the side of caution, Mr. Matheson. I want to caution you at this time. I have to song like the court.
I like your dress.
Thank you very much, but that's fine.
Yeah. So the thing is, it is really important that Trinidad and Tobago understand the need for productivity. I talk this here all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of efforts the government. I know there was a National Productivity Council, and I know there was a lot of talk about productivity, but you're not seeing the results in any significant way. And you can't tell me minimum wage is that, because minimum wage, in my opinion, is a retrograde kind of a way to deal with that. The government needs to think about ways in which they could deal with that. And one of the ways, I think we had to address the Industrial Relations Act, the IRA. That there are a number of things inside there that has to be addressed. And for the life of me, I just can't understand, as a practitioner in the court, as a practitioner in the area of employment law, it is difficult to understand why for so many years, right? We are now moving into the era of AI and work from home and all kind of thing, and yet no one has seen it fit. That is not even an item. Nobody talking about how important it is to address the act.
Correct.
And that is so important.
Correct. And that's one of the major challenges we have with productivity in the public service. You have so much bureaucratic structures, you have old policies, as you say, and things that need to be updated, because again, somebody coming in.
Take this call. Yeah. Good evening.
As you say, and things that need to.
Good evening, Ronaldo. Again, sorry.
And Samoya is quite right when she's talk about the old structures, because part of productivity, Stephen, a metric of that is the ease of doing business.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we find it very difficult to do business, and those are not low-level issues. Those are very structural issues. To register business, to get business things, tax and VAT, and it's a set of run around. Another productivity is not only measured by profit, because to be fair, we have had booms in Trinidad. But how do you measure it? What have we done with it? What structures you have in place? You talked about transportation. You talked about national transportation. What have we done with the oil and the gas that we always run down? It has filtered into some people's and some families' pockets, and the end. We still have to borrow. We still look at some of the schools who do our bench schools still throwing party to raise funds. It's a set of craziness. So when you talk about productivity at a national level, you can't just talk about the money we generate, because we have generated money here before and it has disappeared. It has gone away. So what have we done with what we get? We don't have a mass transit system. We're still arguing about building a highway to Toko. We're still arguing about building a highway to... We're still debating things that the world has gone past. So part of our productivity metric has to be our leadership. And we have a serious problem there, because no matter how much money we generate, if we can't put that to productive use to make the lives of our people easier, we're wasting time.
Correct.
We wasting time.
Correct.
You still have to go customs with a truckload of money. You don't know how much money to
this
carry.
past time,
Cash
that's
only.
right.
Because
It closing 2 o'clock.
It closing 2 o'clock. Lunchtime,
Yeah.
you're closing for lunch. They stop taking cash 2 o'clock.
The scanner ain't
All kind of-
That's
working.
correct.
All kind of crazy. So we have too many structural issues. We have too many, what we will call simple issues that still remain part of our system.
Yeah.
You're still filling out immigration form
Yeah.
and paper.
That's something that always amazes me when I travel. Right? The only place
Correct.
it's creepy. I mean it's just weird. Yeah, you're going
And a sort of stringent
you are a citizen, you went
bureaucratic
through all,
things.
you are a citizen, you went through all the customs all over the world where you thing, and when you reach in New York as a citizen, you walk off the plane and you walk out the gate.
Wow.
Correct. Correct.
It's
Correct.
amazing.
I've been to Barbados recently. We fill out the form online. When we reach, they scan the whatever we fill out and say goodbye.
Yeah.
She just scan it with a scanner and stamp it.
All kind of bottlenecks.
We're still checking out form, ticking out boxes, and we have a whole ministry of digitalization and AI and wants a nice talk. And it's paperwork. You go in those ministries, you're still filling out your name in a full scap notebook.
Wow.
It's just amazing.
You're still writing in a
It's
notebook.
just amazing. You know, right in Barbados, I was saying yesterday, right in Barbados, they now have a system, right? And as I was saying, Barbados beat everybody on the indices of all the different pillars of development.
Wow.
Because they know, I could now send money to you in under 10 seconds on a text.
Look at that. So then what does that say for our tourism
You
sector?
don't,
It's
in
being
Barbados,
impacted?
you don't need to even have a bank account. I know
Wow.
me and Motley have a serious problem with the predatory
Yeah.
the banking systems.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's what we need to hear here and see here also in Trinidad and Tobago. Banks are ripping us off every day.
Wow. Very good points.
And two of the major
So-
ones are owned by the state, by the way.
Correct. So there are some things that we, are in the purview of the business sector that that is pulling teeth. But there are some things in the purview of the state. Why are we doing those things in 2025? Why are you writing on paper and filling out forms and people giving you pages of stuff and well, you see, we have a problem with keeping documents, because we
Wow.
can't find cabinet notes. We
Wow.
cannot find cabinet notes. No wonder you go to some ministries and people can't find your file. Because if the cabinet can't find a cabinet note, that's the cabinet, So we still have a problem here. So our productivity measurements, our metrics, our indices on all grounds is not just human resource, because that's often how we measure it.
Yes.
And workers. We have too many bureaucratic structures that seem to favor, I would say this is the only conclusion I could draw, it seems to favor certain people.
It seems to favor
It
corrupt
seemed to
elements.
Correct.
Wow.
Because you can't tell me scanner's not working, this not working. You have to answer 20 questions. And drugs still coming in the country.
Wow.
Look how much paperwork you're finding. How much paperwork you have to fill out as a citizen.
But everything Ronaldo. Everything in Trinidad
Yeah.
and Tobago, it really amazes me.
Yeah.
We still operate.
And they're still giving you a form.
Right? You go to writing, and I don't like to use the US as an example, because to me, the US is still backward compared to Asia and
Yeah.
countries, right? But you go to the US, everything you want to travel on a bus, you scan your thing from your phone on the bus, the thing open, you go on in.
But now everything here is
Right.
paper based.
You still have to go and get tickets. It's all kind of madness. I mean, you can buy a ticket, but everything. I mean, so much money and time we could save in digitizing the system. Time especially, in terms of, because we're talking productivity.
Right.
Time especially, so many things we could do to save ourselves. That kind of time in Trinidad and Tobago is amazing.
And we are very
still at
well
this
traveled.
level. Huh?
Our politicians are very well traveled.
Correct.
Both sides of the divide. We always go in some part of the world and some conference. We always unballing wow and come back and telling the people this can't work here. This is Gilligan's Island. We keep going all over the world.
Ronaldo.
Gilligan
Going
Island. Little
conference.
people. No,
Yeah.
serious.
We go in conferences and then come back and say, that car. We still arguing about RFID plates. We still arguing
Correct.
about it.
Correct.
It can't work. And
I see nothing
so what could work in Trinidad?
20 years now.
Wow. Wow.
Come on. Listen to me, we had a whole COVID period and we gone back to books and whiteboard. You can't email work anywhere in Trinidad anymore. Ask your children if they could email in work. We have gone back to the chalk. COVID was just an excuse.
When COVID
Nothing productive happened after COVID.
Yeah, COVID should have been the moving point from there,
The
because it is
turning
possible.
point, correct.
It is very possible.
Correct. And we talk about that, transitioning a new age. But the world continues work from home arrangements. Actually, that is the world is shortening the work week. We are lightening it.
But it also says to us where we are in terms of technology, because if after COVID we are still battling with cybersecurity issues, hacking and all of these things, people getting into the credit unions and getting all these large sums of money, then it says to us that we still have far to go. Our cybersecurity measures are not in place for us to move forward. And the question is why?
We have returned to our old habits because it's comfortable and it's easy, and somebody get a job, and somebody could be king of that island. We have gone back to our old habits. That whole technology talk is just talk.
Yeah. And the sad thing about it, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Correct.
And there are countries with developmental plans and countries with whose whole idea of developing other countries are part of their systems, like China. China has the Belt and Road Initiative. All these things we're talking about here, we could get at very easily here. You know?
Yes.
And I'm saying this, and I'm just saying this because maybe, but I don't know why the government or governments haven't explored those ideas, because it has been done right next door in Latin America and South America and that kind of thing. And all of Africa, all of places like Indonesia and all these places, even to some extent parts of Europe, Turkey and that kind of thing. These things are happening. These people are taking advantage of those kind of initiatives. And as I was saying yesterday, the Chinese, they could do almost anything.
Yeah.
They could do they could do almost anything, and they could do it quickly. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel with nothing. Huh?
What Labour has to contend with, Stephen, and I know you're going to your break just now, while Labour might be fighting technology, and Labour sees technology traditionally as an enemy of Labour, traditional Labour, because we understand that computers and machines will and are in fact replacing people. But what Labour must understand, it also creates jobs for higher level skills, because you have to program these things.
That's what we're saying. We need to.
You have to fix them.
If we continue just looking at what we would lose from development, we would move to the next level. Ronaldo. We will not move to the next level.
There's a machine that scan your groceries. We don't need nobody to cash. But the machine does break down. We need somebody to fix the machine. The machine can't fix the machine. So we will still need humans, but at a higher level of employment and skill, which is the challenge. All those AI things. Humans just write those codes.
Which is what
people programming.
Which is what I've been saying with the issue of COVID and all these workers. I mean, so many things. If what the programmers is, I'm talking about I'm going for a break shortly. I'm talking about CPEP. If you consider what has been happening with the CPEP workers, see, right, and what the CPEP workers was designed to do, right?
Yep.
If it was used in a way it was designed, we will have more developed people today.
That's correct. Building different types
of
skills.
Still depending on CPEP. They then doing nothing after CPEP. They're still depending on that 2-3 hours work in the morning to just go and sit down and come back and smoke, and that I mean,
it's defeating
I wouldn't
the
say it in public, but I think that maybe they should just forget about that program.
Oh Lord.
Start something else.
You have to get it back to what it was supposed to be, if that is the case.
Well, maybe if you're starting it back, start it back with that element, but put
more measures in place to manage.
Yeah, put the measures and also have the training element attached to it, And
entrepreneurial development.
Where you can wean people off it over time to give them financing to start their own business, buy your own market, do your own thing, start your own maintenance shop to fix machines or whatever, because obviously we'll have more need for that. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to go and pay some bills shortly, and we will invite your calls when we come back from doing so. When we come back, we will continue on this discussion, and of course you can call us. We will have laid the foundation as to where we're going and what we're going to be talking about this evening, and we want to hear you when we return. Let's take some.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street. 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pasta Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health, performance, and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
Looking for a preschool for your child? Well, look no further. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we believe that every child deserves a jumpstart to success in a safe and loving environment. We prepare your little ones for primary school while giving them the care and attention they deserve, whether they're 3 or 7 years old. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we cater to children with special needs and provide long hours of care from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can rest easy knowing your child is in good hands. And for our tiniest learners, babies aged 3 months to 2 years, we offer nurturing daycare services to help them grow and thrive. Join the Leaping Learners family today. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Leaping Learners Preschool, or visit our website at leapinglearnerstt.com to learn more. We are located in Barataria. Called 744-1523. That's 744-1523. Your child's future begins with a leap.
This Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big limestone into big appetite. It's the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
To the spice of the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC.
The #1 bookstore in Trinidad is having the biggest back-to-school sale for the holidays.
Shop at Sharon's Bookstore for the biggest back-to-school sale.
All your kindergarten, preschool,
primary, secondary school,
and tertiary education supplies at ridiculously low prices. Sharon's also carries a wide range of sneakers, socks, t-shirts, vests for girls and boys,
and much more items for school. So don't miss Sharon's back-to-school sale.
Now on Eastern Main Road, San Juan, Tunapuna.
2 locations at Trin City Mall, ground level and first level. We're also open on Sundays from 8 a.m. Check us on Facebook for up-to-date info and promotions. Also, message us for a quick response.
If you love summer and you love pizza, then you'll love Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat summer. Head to the Hut for our big buffet every day. Then simply upload your receipt to our social media pages for a chance to win a PlayStation 5, a 5-island cabana experience for you and 9 friends, and so much more. Check our socials for details. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega
starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke. And
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Street 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna, for the program Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good evening again. We are back from we went and paid some bills, our short break, and you would have heard the discussion we were having before our break. And now you can call in. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon. Here. Good afternoon to the female umpire.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, all right. I could talk the whole program talking about what are impediments towards productivity in the public service and to some extent in the private sector. What the main thing here, we do not have organizational citizenship. People do not take up citizenship in organizations in Trinidad. I just feel that I have a work and I could come on I want and go on and go when I want. Right? You have things. The bureaucratic system is a big impediment also. Mr. Draper tried to evaluate public sector reform, and I know it killed him. He died, and the process was never completed, and that stayed, that remained dormant right here. We have substance abuse, alcohol abuse. We have lack of training and development. Right? We have poor compensation packages, and the list goes on.
But so caller, yeah, I like to engage here because sometimes we say things and you know, the public just want to hear a little more deeper. You talk about Gordon Draper and public sector reform, and I think that was sometime in the early 90s.
Yeah, in the post-Manning administration.
But if I remember, I mean, there was a lot of bugbears with that comment, with that those initiatives. But one of the things that came out of that would have been the special purpose companies and that kind of thing, to reduce the bureaucracy on the state, and so it was a kind of way to bypass some of the bureaucracy. But to a large extent, what I found coming out of that was we had bigger government, but we've gone back into the same difficult, hard system of not getting the kind of service to the people and that kind of thing. Some people not even understanding how to protest not getting service, and not being able to use or not probably using other mechanisms to get those kind of service. What do you say about that?
Well, first I must state that the Draper exercise service begins with me. That was the title of the exercise service begins with me. That was never it never ended. It never came to closure. Right now, these state companies, some man try that for greater productivity. He came up with the state companies like the secondary roads and the MTS and the and all those companies, Paraseco Enterprises Limited, right? But in the end, what happened? All end up more or less going down. The one man standing right now is the MTS.
But they still end up just like the formal public service.
Yes.
And if you look at MTS, for instance, the state to a large extent owes MTS almost $1 billion, $700 million, and all of that is, I mean, it just shows how the improper use of resources, the improper use of government revenue and that kind of thing, and we come back to square one.
Yeah, because you see, those companies, those state companies, they were formed to open what they call a kind of open system, which is non-bureaucratic. So they maintain that same bureaucratic system, and that is the reason for it to collapse, right? And we have to look at that different. We have to look at reforming that bureaucratic system. I do not know how we'll start with this, because this system has been for so long. Everything. Like, that's why you have a job title, like you have a clerk 1, a clerk 2, a clerk 3, a U 2, a U 4. Everybody has a number attached to their job title. Right? So you have to look at all these things. You have to have a more flat, what they call a flattened system, not a hierarchy. Right? And these are some of the systems. But I'm telling you, people need to have what they call organizational citizenship. And of course, the government must, whoever government, they must try to have what they call psychic incomes for workers. Things like you recognize them, you appreciate them. Some people retire from government, daily paid and monthly paid, and they don't even get icy hot from the state. Right? And people, sometimes it's chichi. Well, usually, I don't even know what chichi. People have to beg chichi, workers have to put up to have a little celebration for a retiring comrade. All these things you have to watch at.
And so all those are things that we call in Asia, we call engagement.
Yeah.
And those things to a large extent help in facilitating happiness in the workplace, productivity, and that kind of thing. And it is something maybe that could be adopted in state-owned enterprises and that kind of thing too.
Yeah, health and wellness. Government, state employees should be even once every 6 months. The government has to have a stringent medical for employees. Hey, look up by the ship, the medical ship.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people as rights cartel come back and train again.
That is telling, eh? With the number of people that went there.
That was actually, I feel kind of like ashamed, kind of way.
Of course.
I saw that, but I mean,
it's telling
it tells you
of the state of our sector.
And we were talking about a little while ago about the healthcare system and some of the things that happen in health and that kind of thing, and that just exemplifies
absolutely. It is a crying embarrassment. As much as we appreciate what was done for us, it's great, but it's really telling of where we are.
All right, well, as I tell, I could talk because I believe I'm a guru. I may not be Peter Drucker. I believe I'm a guru, but
you read a lot. The names and things that you're calling, I know you read a lot because I've been there too.
Well, I was no joke management studies, I work on studies, and I didn't get a scholarship, I work on study,
Same here.
But right, but I feel a lot of impediment, so I was never I was never self-actualized because different impediments, studying thing black man will be nothing easy and say what, you understand? Anyhow, thank you all, brothers and sisters.
Thanks for calling, caller.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So you're saying?
All right. Yeah. So based on what the caller was saying, there are quite a lot of issues related to productivity. We spoke about the structural issues with the old processes, the underuse of technology, the lack of KPIs, things like that. We also have culture. Workplace culture is a very serious issue. You see the resistance to change. We have that massive challenge there because people come in, this is my job, I don't want to do anything further than that unless you pay me, right? I like to use the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and they are not everyone is at the stage to self-actualize. Most people can't even cover their physiological needs.
Yeah, but let me break it down. If a man telling you in the workplace that is not what I'm supposed to do, you have to pay me more to think. What does that tell you as a practitioner, right? In the workplace. I mean, apart from the fact that he might be working to rule, but it tells you that there is no real physical engagement, no happiness, no feeling of being part of and that kind of thing in the workplace. And that, to a large extent, it resonates. I mean, it goes to the root of some of the productivity problem. Let's take our fellow umpire. That is not what I'm supposed to do. You have to be more than thing. What is that? As in the workplace. I mean,
hello?
Yes, we hear you.
I just want to say the umpire dress up today, but he must have matched us in all cause, isn't that?
I was trying to compliment her earlier on, but
I steered him on the side of caution.
She want me to get in trouble with sexual
harassment on any unwelcome advances.
She don't understand it. She don't understand. She taking things personal.
Go ahead, Ronaldo.
Go ahead, Ronaldo. We seem to have lost.
Oh, we lost him.
We seem to have lost him there. Yeah, but the thing is, some of the things. We have a caller. Let's take this caller. Yeah, good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Matheson.
Yeah.
Mr. Matheson, I don't want to rehash what the earlier caller would have said, because I think he's all correct. That paper intervention never really materialized. And I don't know what the Minister of Public Administration would have been doing for the last 10 years. I don't know. But I'm saying reform in the public service, or I haven't seen it, but I don't know what the service commissions, what those commissioners do. I don't know, because I haven't seen any improvement in the public service, and I treat the public service as distinct from the private sector, those businesses, they profit for profit. I think the public service for service. We operate within the Commonwealth. And in England, you had reforms in the 19th century by the Whitley Report, North Coast Travelling Report, and a whole series of reports with respect to reform of the public service, and they have gone through, and to date they may have had over 15 reports and recommendations and reform in the public. We haven't done anything. And I'm saying, in the 1980s, I remember up at the Dustin there, the emphasis was on Singapore was the thing. Everybody Singapore model, but nothing resembling the Singapore model has been implemented. Nothing. And I'm saying, I don't know the Service Commission or probably who in charge of the public service, whether they go outside and look at best practice, look at the kind of changes that would have taken place in Canada. What would have happened in Australia? What would have happened? What is the position in Singapore? And see whether, in fact, what you could do to change. Nothing like that. Well, because everything that you look from an indigenous perspective, that hasn't worked.
Yeah, I myself have been part of like strategic planning initiatives in ministries and that kind of thing. And what you would realize over the years is that most of those documents will sit on shelves, just making us implement just about 10% of what was recommended in the strategic plan. But to a large extent, sometimes the two things that impacts the ability to implement some of the ideas put forward in things like strategic plan would be revenue to do it. That is a vote to get the revenue to do some of them things, and sometimes the legislation.
Correct.
Yeah, but when we talk about strategic plan, yes, we have a strategic plan, but all things being equal, the question of staffing and all that.
Correct.
Right? All these things, you need to look at the question of your structure, the organization, the structure of the organizational structure. You need to look at that, because you make a plan. I don't know whether the plan takes into consideration the structure in terms of staffing and all that kind of thing. In terms of you talk about technology and all that, because probably when you may have operated there, sometimes you need to review or revise or change the strategy.
Yeah. So
sometimes things have evolved. So I don't know where we're going with that, and I'm asking the powers that be to look with respect to transforming that public service commissions. And this 3-year business, I don't know what are their responsibilities, what is their mandate. I don't know. And you can't have people going to the service commission and making an application for a Clark 1 positions. Nobody interviews them. They get into an office, you put them on a desk and say, well, look, you work this desk. They have no idea as to what, and nobody prepares them for work within probably a Clark 2 or Clark 1 will tell them. But this is the problem. Not the question of training, the question of promotion. All these things play a very important part in terms of motivation in addition to others.
Correct.
So I don't know where we're going, so I beg. We seem not able to do it with the kind of the people we don't have the ideas, we don't have the kind of thinking, we're not thinking out the box. We lack the imagination. So all you go to Canada, go to England, see what transformation would have
all of them just travel and go there. all of them just go there. They know what's happening.
No, what they do, and you see it in the public service, you see it in the police service and the protective services. When those people are about to resign, they send them on course. A year before they go, send them on course all about the place. And when they come back, they just got no transmissions in terms of the knowledge of they would have gained. Wasting time and wasting people's money, taxpayers' money. Because what happens sometimes, as I said, is friend-fronting. And I made mention about it already.
So you send them on a holiday just before they go?
Yeah, they give them some...
no real interest in succession planning and things.
So they have to look at all that. But I would want to see those people go to those developed countries within the Commonwealth that see what they're doing, see how it is working, see what you could introduce here with modification if necessary to get the public service going. You can't sit down there and expect that things business as usual. You see what is reflected in the hospitals. People going there and all. You see the question of nursing. People telling me about. But all right, Mr. Marcus, thank you.
Thank you.
And your caller is so correct in identifying some of the things that are clearly barriers to productivity, barriers to real development in trying to do, and that is something that I don't know what to say again, how to do it, but there have been, as I was saying to the caller, there have been so many strategic plans and all that kind of thing put forward in the past, and to me it just sits on shelves. It can't happen. Let's take this caller. Mr. President, good evening. Good evening, Mr. President. Speaking to the mic. We're not hearing you. Mr. President? Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Yeah, it was late on that only. It cut off for you one time. I just shoot back very quick. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Susan.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Samoya.
Samoya, good afternoon.
Yeah, I went over and I watched the name, so I could put it in my hologram. So, right, nice. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. President, Trinidad and Tobago Villager is on the mic at the moment. And the conversation is nice. It's nice. It went so nice that, okay, what happened? How to get productivity from people? The problem is massa. Yeah. The problem is massa. You see, I could tell you how that's happening to be. That it's massa system, really, all the industries and everything is massa system. And I heard one of what you said earlier on that massa have a way to find, he said, because he has all the money and everything, so he could handle the situation, whether money or intellectual. He's handling it with money. The problem is capitalism and slavery. And jump high, jump low. If we the slaves can't find a way to talk to matter, handle matter, deal with matter, demand for matter, whatever circumstances, that is a quick conversation in everything we do. Because always house slaves. Now I just talk about this, but it doesn't mean nothing personally. Educators educating you. And who is the educators? The educators is the master. They're not educating you. When I listen to all you, hear why they be hearing. Or you're looking to make up a system that will help Massa, or you will still telling all yourself, well, you're trying to help we. Massa don't want to hear about that. Massa only go here when you raise up and change the system so that you don't have no control over the system.
919 FM.
And that is really where it is. Because I watching as a grassroots, I watching as the African who know where I come from, where I am. I watching the Indian as an indentured, although the poor fella, he's suffering too because hierarchies on the whole. Whether they don't care what culture they be, they don't care really necessarily about the poor man. So the poor man has to build a structure, and in building that structure, deal with them. If we can't deal with them, we ain't going to talk about gun and all them things. I can't say rebellion. I don't say it. But anyway, we ain't want to talk about a revolution means change. We have to change. We have to change. We have to pull a construct that will suit us, although we still have to deal with them. Because we don't have nothing, they don't have it. But we have to negotiate in a way that it will please us. It may be hard, it may be rough, it may be a hard road to take. It's the only thing we can do. I like to talk fair. I know where I am. And if I am a slave, I can't dictate to myself. But I could put myself in position to have good consciousness, consultation. There's a representation without consultation. In the well-word is consultation to see how best we could get. That union and them update them in trouble. Because if that union can really truly have consultation with where they put themselves right now to the people who they have to unionize or serve, then it's really problem, you know. That is really problem because my science care really to the point where it reached that time. All the administration, that bureaucracy that between it, tell a man should we still living under all the industries that is Massa owned. I will pause there because I talk off the conversation, I will talk about to I believe all to talk the rest and more.
All right, Master.
So
have a good evening.
Thank you,
right.
Patsy. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but you know, there was a situation that took place. I don't know if you know or if you heard about it. The situation with the little boy in the hospital.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of talk about. I've heard conversations behind the scene that maybe the little boy might have been given the wrong medication.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
I've been following the story.
And that kind of thing. I think the last autopsy
it gave a completely different report.
Indicated that, and that speaks a lot to what goes on but that is just a microcosm,
of course,
of what happens in the system in Trinidad and Tobago in general. But everything is just unfortunate that these are the
people are
the
suffering
outcome.
Because of it.
Yes, and that is something that we really you see accountability.
And that's why I started with that accountability.
Yeah. Accountability is key. But we had to have systems in Trinidad and Tobago to engender accountability, and that is important. Good evening, caller.
Systems in Trinidad and Tobago to engender.
Good evening, caller. Caller, you
yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. Yes, about a little boy, you remember it was stated in the second autopsy that he died because of the reaction to the medicine given.
Yes.
And they stated all the kind of medical things,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So they stated that. It's not a if, a maybe, and could be. In the, remember, autopsy is facts, it's what they see, and what they write and what they know. So it's not we think. It's not like we might say, I think you give him something wrong. But in the autopsy they said, right. But even a common layman, judging from even what the parents said, you cannot, the boy didn't come with his head split open or from an accident. You know, because sometimes in accidents, you remember, you're met with things you don't know, blood all over your brain, you know what I mean? So you could make a mistake because everything is so, you don't know. And that's what a hospital is, accident and emergency. When he came in, it wasn't like that. Remember, a dry cough, you don't go to a hospital for a dry cough, number one. And even if it's that, they would have, you know, whatever. But you, that way it was supposed to be. And they admitted, the Nurses Association wrote some letter and said that behind the nurses because they were tired, they were not, something like that. They were short-staffed.
We commented that, but
when you have a case, it can't be because you're short-staffed that you don't do protocol, you don't do what you're supposed to do. You know, there are things that you're supposed to do regardless.
I heard between in the grapevines that the child was on a bed that was assigned to another patient, and he was ultimately given the medication for that patient.
Jeez.
That is what I heard. In the
well, I don't know because.
So that's what
Mr. Matheson. Mr. Matheson. One thing I don't go on hearing through the grapevine. You know what I learned? If you told me you were a doctor working there or a nurse and he was assigned, quite like to say Mr. Matheson said,
I'm just saying
that he was assigned to a new bed.
I'm just saying.
But you can't say that. Once it's through the grapevine, I don't take on anything through the grapevine.
Right.
It could be as well as it can be.
Right. So we are saying, I am saying that this is what I heard. And that might have been one of the cause of him getting the wrong medication. So and that's
well, he could have still got it, but he couldn't he, Mr. Matheson, couldn't he have got the same medicine, wrong medicine, in his bed, even if it was assigned to him? Because that happened to my sister. They were bringing medicine for her, and she said, "Hey, this is my medicine." And then when they're like, "Oh, it's for a lady," and they just hand the medicine for the lady to her next another patient.
Yeah, so the issue there
by
is
my
negligence
sister.
on the whole.
So sometimes in your own bed, you could be given that, but I don't go on here, see. You know, as the people say, they're having an inquiry into all that. Like you see, the autopsy was facts.
Right.
And the autopsy wasn't hearsay.
Yeah.
You know, because people will tell you anything, Mr. Matheson, and that is what you say. That's accountability. That's why you don't have accountability, because in the office, they will come and tell Mr. Matheson that Samoy, Miss Samoy, you see Miss Samoy? Yeah, she did take up that from there, and from there it spiraled right out of that. When you give an account and you have accountability, everything could be accounted for. Every word. If you're saying something, Mr. Matheson sign, that Miss Samoa took something, so you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, thank you.
So that is why we lack accountability too.
Thank you.
Too much hearsay and not doing your work.
Thank you.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing the result of the investigation.
Absolutely.
So we'll know, not through the grapevine, Mr. Matterson. We will know. Right?
Thank you.
Okay. I'll have.
So the thing is, when you look at this situation, it tells you that we have a problem.
Of course.
And we have a problem because of that same word, accountability. People need to be held accountable for the things they do. There must be structured systems in place. And from what all the reports, all what we heard so far, there seem to be, and I talk about a particular situation that happened to me that I experienced about 2 months ago in the hospital with a friend of mine. And all of this, contributes or speaks to, in a large way, of that kind of, system of how we operate and, with people, human resource management in the systems.
I have a point to that. One of the challenges we have is that issue of job security. People are having that mindset of, hey, I want to have this particular job because these are the benefits that come with it, as opposed to the service, to the commitment to public service. The commitment to, okay, this is my job, I'm passionate about this job, and for this reason I will go beyond, above and beyond for the sake of nation building. So we have those issues. And if recently there was an article about Dr. Petronella Manning Allen. She was, in my view, the best pediatrician in this country, sister of Mr. Manning. And in looking at that article online, there were so many people who said their lives were saved, mine included. I was one of those premature babies whose lives she saved.
So you're that premature?
Yes, I was. I was. So, I mean, when you look at the difference now, and it's not just in the medical field, the commitment to service and seeing the members of the public as clients. That's why they cannot beat the private sector, because they are customer service, customer oriented. And once we don't have that mindset that at the end of the day we have to serve the people, then that will always be the issue.
Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're live.
Any one of you people there heard Mr. Edie Short this morning on Morning Edition?
No, we didn't hear him.
Listen what to do. Get that clip from this Morning Edition. Mr. Stewart will make reference to that case and play it with you. See, follow could play part of it. You understand? All this thing about through the grapevine and this and that. Listen to what Mr. Edie Stewart said this morning on Morning Edition. He included that situation with his little boy. Okay?
Okay.
All you could find it. If you don't play it, they play tomorrow. Find it and play it.
Okay.
And let people stop speculating.
Thank you. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it all boils down to, on both sides, human resource management and management. So on both on the employer side and the worker side, because to a large extent you hear people talking about whether or not you're paying the right pay. Right? But people, it's an ethical thing. People need to know. I mean, if you're working a man a certain way and he's giving you a certain amount of product, and you want that kind of engagement and you want all the other things, and we talk about Maslow, hierarchy needs, and that kind of, you're not going to move to the next level.
Correct.
If you're not satisfied at the level below.
That's correct.
So the thing is, all of that in a very significant way have its relations to the kind of things that is happening, because both employer and employee have to come together, and if you want that kind of productivity, if you want that kind of, and so you have to create the conditions and the right kind of policies and everything, the laws and everything for accountability, and at the same, do doctors and nurses do they can they be charged if they give somebody wrong medication and or they do all the wrong things? Can they be charged or cause the life of somebody?
That I am not sure of, but
I
don't think you could charge them like that. But you can
charge anybody, yeah? I mean,
sue the organization will suffer litigation.
Right? You can sue anybody. But the thing is, that's accountability. If people are held accountable for the action, but you had a payment right too. You had a payment right, so I could probably get the right kind of insurance.
It's a number. It's pay. It's also now if that argument, I think the Nursing Association was saying something to that effect, that there were internal issues that probably happened that contributed to that. Maybe staffing is one. What is happening? Why we don't have sufficient nurses? What's happening if people are working overtime?
Yeah, but these are human beings. The situation with the lady who I said who got a stroke, and the normal practice, because I researched it, I checked it out. When you go to the hospital with a condition that resembles a stroke, right? One of the first things, as soon as possible, that person should at least try to do an MRI on that person within about 6 hours. And this is I will have researched it, and all the international reviews would have said that, right? Within about 2 to 6 hours, if you get an MRI and you find out what caused the stroke, whether it's a blood clot or a hemorrhage or so, then you will be, because both of them are treated differently. You can't just treat somebody for a stroke if you don't know what caused the stroke or what is going on in the person's brain. And if you keep somebody 4 days, then without doing that, and you read the cause of which they took the person in within the 6 hours to do it, but the escort in the hospital did not want to move the patient from the bed to the MRI machine because they said the patient was too heavy. Now that is a HR, that certainly is a HR situation, because clearly if the person was heavy, it shouldn't be one escort. It should have more escorts to help. But clearly that is a breach of the patient rights. That not just that is a breach of that's a tort. What we call a tort in law, right? Because clearly the hospital have a duty of care in a situation like this, and clearly if the standard is an MRI and you didn't do an MRI, you could have saved that patient's life. As a matter of fact, you could have saved that patient from permanent damage.
Look at that.
I know people who went to the hospital with stroke and thing, one leg and thing, and walk out the next day. Because they found out exactly what was going on, and they administered the right kind of treatment. That treatment they could give people to mash up clot and thing if they do it in time. So clearly the way the cavalier way how they do things in hospitals and in public hospitals, I don't know if it happened. I've never been to a hospital in a situation where I had to do that. But the way they do things in these hospitals sometimes it's frightening.
It's almost as though sometimes there's no concern for life. And it's sad because there are medical practitioners who are extremely passionate and they do their best.
But it goes back to the employer too. Because if you want to, after a time, you're trying to do the right thing all the time and you're really seeing this,
and you see some
system,
people
the
getting
same
away.
thing over and over, and people are wrong here working, people there getting help.
You will be demotivated.
You get demotivated and you start saying, well, okay, everybody, this is the system, I mean, this is how I work in. But clearly, we need to fix these things because these things are, you see, a little boy died. And it's not the first time. Every day, people experiencing these kind of things in the hospitals, you know, especially places like Moncton and things, you know. People ain't saying nothing. Some people don't have the money to say anything. Some people you're not hearing them. Right? Some people not taking any legal action.
I think it's across the board in the public service. We don't treat the citizens as customers.
You ever try to go customs? You ever try to go customs to probably clear a barrel or something?
I never did, but I hear how it is easy.
Listen, it's madness. You go and declare a barrel that you take somebody send a barrel for you for whatever reason. You work for XYZ amount of money for the day. You thinking it's something you could run away and go and get in an hour time. Hey,
nope.
That could never happen. It takes you almost a whole day in customs to clear a barrel.
Wow.
to pay 2, 3 something, 4 something, whatever.
And that's all our services across the board.
Because one, when you reach there, you have to go through a whole set of different thing, numbers, they put you on all kind of different system. Then when you thing, by the time you reach to go and get investigate or to check the barrel, it's lunchtime. It's all kind of thing.
Cash are closed.
Cash are closed. You have to have money, cash, all kind of thing. Good evening, caller.
Hello. Hello?
Yes, you are live.
Yeah, good afternoon to the Empire. Yeah, here you're talking a good piece of talk with the pressure on the port. I mean, I don't know if all you have them minister number, if all you could talk to them, Philip and all them fellas, and them let them know I waited 2 months to clear container over there. Real pressure on the port, and I mean, it was bad before, but it gets worse now. I complaining about this about 2, 3 months now. Yeah. And you know nobody are doing nothing, and only now they put it on the papers.
Wow.
I put it anyway. Later, now let them you and see people know now about do their work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. So I mean, what the caller is saying is real. People does really suffer all kind of different things in this country to get basic public service. It's lunchtime. I mean, you working in private. You could tell me, you working in my company, you could tell me, hey, somebody coming for service and it's lunchtime.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, 2 people in the same section can't go to lunch at the same time.
So
that's madness.
These are easy fix. You start at the hours, who coming in for 8 o'clock, you let them come in for 9 o'clock. 6, 7. So you have 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have people who could do everything.
Yep.
Right? So lunchtime you always have somebody, and people still getting the lunch.
It's also for me like a management issue as well, because then why do you have managers and supervisors? You put people on a schedule. You have a department.
But you
put them on a schedule.
You know one of the funny thing, they will tell you that the collective agreement says that. So it's according to the collective agreement. You see how coercive it is. You see how dangerous it is to bad negotiation, bad agreements, and that kind of thing.
So the collective agreement tells you that, but the collective agreement would not deal with a situation where you come into work 8 o'clock on the dot and still want to have breakfast, right?
No, well, that's a management problem.
We can't use it conveniently.
No, it had to be a management problem, because a lecturer, when I was studying industrial relations, a lecturer by the name of Roy Thomas, I raised those kind of issues with him, and he said, man, listen here, what happened? The union will do what the union have to do.
Correct.
Right? So that if you want to let the union do that to you without you doing your part as management, then you have a problem. So this is what I'm saying, it always boils back down to a management problem.
So the recourse for the employee that feels that they are having those challenges, they have a union, they have a whole process that they can go through. But then what is the recourse for the member of the public that is dealing with these things and they've experienced these types of services or bad service? I'm sure a lot of people don't know about the Office of the Ombudsman. That is where that
I don't
office,
understand it. Tell me.
But that office deals with any type of issue where there's a grievance. Let me say they deal with issues such as failure to provide clients with a response or advice, delays in addressing issues or complaints, or a failure to act at all. They also deal with decisions or advice that is not in accordance with the established policy. So if you have those issues, those trouble issues in the public service, send an email to the Office of the Ombudsman and they will send someone to investigate the matter on your behalf. That is the recourse that the public has in terms of dealing with that.
I just go home, I just bide my time, go home and discuss.
Well, no, they are there for that purpose, to address issues where the public feels as though they have been unfairly dealt with.
And not just the Office of the Ombudsman, you have so many different government agencies that are set up to deal with issues of malfeasance or issues of where you have maladministration, you feel you are taking advantage of in the system and that kind of thing. Like if you feel you are taken advantage of by the police, you have the Police Complaint Authority, you have Professional Standards Bureau, which is police, by the way. You have you can, like, if you want documents to check to see if thing you have the what's the name of that agency
where you
can get
equal opportunities.
No, not equal opportunity. Where you can get documents. Maybe somebody will call us and remind us, but I get old. But yeah,
no, so but there's so many things. There are areas that we could go to.
Yeah, there are so many things people could go to, and you know, get that kind of access. I see Mr. President calling us back. Let me take this call. Good evening,
hey, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. President.
Yeah. That's such simple things that we could work with. But we really have to build this and watching our system. And I know always HR and HR go in plenty different relationships, everything. And the truth is that you really have to be very serious in the society where I am concerned, because I will be, I told you, right through, because I know the potential of that. And the truth is, but the conversation is the conversation that has to build Trinidad and the big one. I will have to put all the effort, make all the effort an organization. But you have to do that. Because in the context that I Lego out there, I even Lego last night, so whoever knows Clement made and could find it, or you go see the consciousness of it. This is about uniting as a vision and a mission towards a next ideology of existence. From Trinidad, it's coming out. I have the intelligence to do the best that I could, and all you have in it. I seen that I will keep on talking this right through until the next election, because it must have 12 people in the parliament. God put that in, and 12 outside, so that all they could control the system as a people, not as organization who want to go in the treasury. All you're supposed to be holding the treasury, so nobody can walk and take nothing out of the treasury if all you guarding the treasury. And I say all you as an organization, liberal, independent brotherhood, we, my brothers and sisters, we have to form an organization to defeat colonialism, to defeat slavery. We have to organize ourselves, because all they're ruling us with is organizations, not one. Organizations. But we as the public have none. Organize to a purpose of a future. If we don't do that, then you're living with the colonial system, with the European system, the master system, the system that decides to be police over the world, and that empire, looking good. It's not looking good. African, Indian, all people take over. Thanks. Badman. Thanks.
Yes, good. Yes, thank you, caller. Yeah, well, you can address that, but the situation that we are faced with is not a situation that we are faced with, right? This is something that is happening years now. Right? I've heard many people on radio, many people in my circles, in your circles, talk about the challenges that we have in Trinidad and Tobago to get people to do the right thing, to get government to function the way it should be functioning. I mean, we talk that all the time. What do we do as citizens to kind of like solve those problems? Well, we have elections, and when elections come, we put the team that is best poised, that in our opinion, to run the country in office. Yeah. We vote for them, which is what just happened. So we have to now find a way, and I think we're doing it here. Right? You, in your own enclave, could do the same thing. find a way to get to the ear of the politicians. What might be, what you feel in your opinion is the best way to go, the best way to govern Trinidad and Tobago. And if we can't do that, we have no other avenue to be able to do that, right? But clearly what is happening in places, in the hospitals, not just the hospital, in the schools, in every sphere of public service, it's sometimes disappointing.
Yeah.
Right? It's difficult to even stomach when you hear. Sometimes I personally feel so frustrated with the system. I don't even, I just lock off. But you can't lock off, because at the end of the day, you still have to, you're still part of the system.
That service.
Yeah.
And I always say, you know, woe to those who don't have the facilities to seek private care or private services on the whole, not just health, but, you know, for example, if you don't have money to attain a private attorney and you have to rely on state, you know, what does that look like? There are people who complain about that state defense not being, you know, in their best interest at times.
Now, when we talk about what happened with the little boy in particular, that is not to say that errors don't take place and certain things. Look what's happening in Argentina right now. I don't know if you know. Argentina, I think it's 87 people died as a result of contaminated drugs, fentanyl, and there's protests as a result of that. I don't know what will come out of that, but that doesn't necessarily happen in Trinidad and Tobago. We not even the court system, because I think in Argentina with that fentanyl contamination drugs, I think people are held accountable, and some people is criminally accountable, held criminally accountable for what happened. 87 people died.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a serious thing.
And while that is happening, I'm now looking at this article that says the Ministry of Health probes disappearance of 300 vials of fentanyl. 300 vials has gone missing.
Fentanyl?
Yeah.
See?
So
we now talking about that.
We know, and we're talking about that from a malpractice perspective. But this here is now where there's a complete disappearance. And you know, the lady before, she said we don't really ascribe to hearsay, but we know in the public, in the country, that people have their private practices.
Yeah, boy.
And you know, sometimes the same persons you see in the public, they have their practices.
That's an expensive thing, by the way.
That is it's expensive. Then the ministry is also saying this is a dangerous drug.
Yeah, it's a dangerous drug.
You know, so they have
in the US, for instance, that's a problem. Right? That's a real problem on the streets of LA and things. You have people addicted, you know, people using them kind of drugs, and you have a lot of homelessness and that kind of thing because of that. You have veterans and that kind of thing. Let's take this call, right? You have veterans, you have all kind of people who use those kind of drugs, and it becomes dangerous, it becomes unhealthy. Caller, if you're calling now, maybe you should call back, because we're going to take a break shortly to pay some bills. Yeah, so it is a serious thing.
Cause for concern.
It is cause for concern, and accountability, as we say, is key, because in other real, I should say, more developed countries, or probably even, I should say, real places, people are held accountable for these things. Not just the system, but people are held accountable. Which is why when you are professional in these places, I don't know if we make it a law that people are held accountable for their actions, and therefore you have the necessary liability insurance, then when these things happen, your insurance kicks in, and you can get sued. You could get sued personally, apart from suing the government, the state, where taxpayers now have to pay. You should be able to be held accountability personally accountable for your action, whether you felt it was a mistake or not, because mistakes, people die.
Yeah.
And
quite costly.
I mean, it is costly to all, to the state, to you as a taxpayer, to the family, to everybody. So somebody should be held accountable all the time, and that is serious cause for concern. It is always a situation where you have, when you look into the public service, all areas. I haven't seen you know any area of public service where you have like maximum efficiency.
I can't say. I honestly cannot say.
And you work in public service for some time, right?
Honestly,
that's the
cannot
problem.
say.
There's hardly any areas of public service where you have where you can actually see that level of efficiency demonstrated.
And wasn't that the purpose of implementing the contract system? Getting rid of certain mindsets and behaviors through contract employment, you know? You give you 3 years.
Well, to a large extent, from my experience, to me, people who want them kind of contract situation which is outside of the establishment, to me they perform better in the system than those in public service, right? But we take for a break now. We pause to pay some bills. We'll come back shortly.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quid.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. We connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The third umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on the Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
The island is buzzing with news of big savings at Sharon's Bookstore, as our back-to-school sale is now happening at all 3 of our locations. We have great deals on everything you need, from school books, sneakers, backpacks, uniforms, stationery, and accessories to so much more. Whether your little one is starting kindergarten, heading to primary, secondary, or private school, or even taking theory, we've got you covered here at Sharon's. So why wait? Come on down and let us help you get ready for school. Our friendly team is waiting for you now at our locations on the Eastern Main Road in San Juan, the Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna, and on levels 1 and 2 of Trincity Mall in Trincity. Sharon's Bookstore is proud to be your local one. Stop shop for all things back to school, helping you with style, savings, and everything school-related all under one roof. Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
This Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big lines turn into big appetites. Hit the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
For the spice of the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC. The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Hi there, I'm Lester Suglal, inviting you to join me on the first, second, and third Saturday, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, and on the fourth and fifth Saturday from 8:30 p.m. for an extended version of Slow Gospel Music on Street 91.9 FM.
So line up, link up, creep up, rock and come in. It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Reggae Rock Sundays on the Street 919 FM with yours truly, MC Duke and Selector Kochi on the ones and twos. So make it a date and don't be late. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on the Street 919 FM. Got 'em our way, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, we are back and we are talking issues today, as usual, and we just were talking about the issue with productivity and the hospitals and the system in general, the infrastructure that deals with people in general in Trinidad and Tobago. And we heard your views. We ourselves had a lot to say. Some things are happening internationally also that we have to be very cognizant. We have to pay attention to it. We have to pay attention to the geopolitical issues that are taking place around us. And tomorrow there's a very, very important summit that maybe we should be paying attention to, because surrounding that summit, there are a lot of threats and a lot of things that could go wrong that could also affect us in Trinidad and Tobago in the long run. So what has been happening? What has been happening over the last 3 years? As we all know, Russia would have invaded Ukraine, and Ukraine was like part of the Soviet Union. Probably they probably held at the time in the Soviet, before the breakup of the Soviet Union, they held a significant amount of nuclear weapons. When part of the agreement with the breakup was that they diminish or they hand over to Russia most of their nuclear weapons, or all of their nuclear weapons. They could not have been a nuclear state. And that was part of the agreement after the breakup of the Soviet Union. One of the things that came out of the Soviet Union, whether it be by agreement or not, was that NATO would not encroach, NATO would not enlarge an inch more to Russia, towards Russia. And that, to a large extent, started that agreement, whether verbal or not, that agreement started to diminish very early on in the 90s, where countries that were part of the Soviet Union started joining NATO, which is the North American Trade or North Atlantic Trade Alliance and or organization. And that organization, by and large, is a kind of military organization, which comprised, to a large extent, the US and most of the European countries. What started happening over the years was that countries that were formerly part of the Soviet Union started joining NATO, which to a large extent created a situation where Russia would have felt threatened by America almost being on its doorstep. And if for those of us who would have remembered, I was young, but I read a lot about it, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis, to a large extent, would have happened for similar reasons. It was a situation where Russia was trying to put nuclear armament in Cuba. And of course, you know, that is very close to the the west coast of America. And America had a serious problem with that. It had a standoff in the sea, and eventually there was an agreement between the president at the time of the US and Russia. And that agreement included that Russia moving some of its nuclear weapons from, I think, places like Turkey and that kind of place. And for that, Russia did not further its intention to put nuclear arms in Cuba, which of course would have been a serious concern to us also. Well, that situation is now playing over itself in today as a result of NATO wanting to include or subsume Ukraine, which is like on the doorstep of, that would obviously bring America on the doorstep of Russia, and that's a problem. But didn't start in 2022, it started sometime in 2014 to a large extent, for which there was a Minsk agreement which took place in Belarus, and an agreement that, but coming out of that 2014 situation, Russia would have occupied Crimea and some parts of Donbass and that kind of thing, right? As a result of that, you had, for a while, you had a ceasefire, and now it has erupted into a situation where Russia have a special military operation. They would have gone into Ukraine, and they would have done a significant amount of damage and have a lot of back and forth. Well, tomorrow, Donald Trump, this probably would have been might have been the third attempt, or maybe the third attempt, to see if he could get a ceasefire, because that war is causing a lot of problems. It's causing a lot of disruption in the world. With tariffs and threats of war and that kind of thing is causing problem in India. It's causing problem in China and all that kind of thing. But the bottom line is, to me, like, America seems to be wanting to increase its dominance in the world as a world hegemon, and put itself in, because this started under Biden to a large extent, and America has this expansionist policy to go in and dominate countries and that kind of thing, and Russia saw it just as that. So what are the implications of that, all of that, for Trinidad and Tobago? And the implications clearly is, when you have wars and you have situation with embargoes and tariffs and that kind of thing, sometimes it affects key elements of our needs. We import everything from abroad to live, our food, everything. So how these things affect us? One would say, well, okay, so you have now tariffs, you have countries being tariffs for trading in Russian oil. It will reduce the amount of oil on the market. Then that might be a good thing for us in some cases. But in other areas, shipping and that kind of thing, it could be a bad thing, because a lot of our things come from China. Some of the main corridors, shipping corridors, sometimes are affected by these kind of wars and that kind of thing. So it affects us. So we have to also be looking at these issues. We have to also be looking at how these issues affect us, and just be mindful of how it will affect our economy at the end of the day, because all of these things play a significant role in how we get food on the table, how we live.
Correct.
And therefore, that meeting tomorrow, which is going to be happening in Alaska, is something that we should pay attention to, right? Russia and America, Trump and Putin is going to be having a meeting for the first time since 2020. The last time an American president met with Russia was I think that meeting in Helsinki. I think it was in 2020.
Wow!
Right, that was the last time both presidents met. In which case was Russia, and at the time was Biden. So that is what is happening, and maybe we should look at that. I don't have much, the world don't have much confidence in what's going to come out of that meeting, because no, they really don't, because Russia's intention is to protect its borders, and to do so, they feel that they have to either beat Ukraine into submission, because Ukraine is a hard cookie, they're not giving up, and although they have technically, in my opinion, lost the war, but with the help of Europe, they are still fighting. They are still going on with it. Countless people are dying. Russia seems not to care about that, and they're just bombing them, destroying a great part of Ukraine, and that is a problem for the world, right? So these are issues that will affect us also in Trinidad and Tobago. And maybe I'd want to hear you chime in on that, hear what you have to say, because it also affects how we live. It also affects the price we pay for things, because once there's a scarcity of certain things, their prices will go up, because there will be higher demand, and therefore scarcity means less on the table, higher demand and more money. All of that is basic economics, but we had to understand that too. For us, if we had a refinery, well, no, and we were producing the kind of oil we were producing, say 20 years ago, we would have been in a good position, right? But that is not the case. So I don't know, what do you say Trinidad and Tobago has in relation to what the effects of those geopolitical issues could be and how it will affect us? That is something that we should probably discuss and probably examine.
We have been hearing cries over the years for diversifying the economy. And you know, government come, government go, the same argument happens, and we don't see, in my view, much change towards it. Now, there are some projects, there are some initiatives to push agriculture and things of that nature, but is that sufficient?
Well, it certainly isn't sufficient if you were to take it where we are today, where we are now. Because
it's truly not.
Where we are now, we are truly vulnerable to any shocks.
That's correct.
Any shocks. Because, I mean, we don't even have what we were known for in the past. For us to have to be able to feed ourselves. Our nation could feed itself.
Exactly.
Is a safe nation. We're celebrating independence in a few days from now, and we're truly not independent. I mean, we're not independent because we cannot feed ourselves. There are certain critical things that we need to be able to do that we can't do.
Correct.
We produce nothing really more than biscuits, right? And to a large extent, the things that we have as natural, we aren't able to monetize it in the way we should be monetizing it. And that to us is critical.
So there's that, and then I mean we really can't say we rely on tourism in any way, especially compared to our other Caribbean islands.
How tourism going to work for us in a situation like this?
It wouldn't. So that's what I'm saying. All we have before us right now, it's still not sufficient to carry us through, and there is that need to revisit that diversification. And I mean, I've heard talks about the import bill, what we should try to avoid, you know, and utilize at home, but we don't. The quality, we already have that taste for foreign products.
Well, even with that, you know, I have a serious problem with that, because I think within our problem is there's a shining star, sunlight, plenty sunlight. A lot of things can happen because you see, okay, so we have a problem with the healthcare system, right? And part of what the government or governments might tell you is that to get the kind of healthcare that most of us might be clamoring for, it takes a lot of money, because that's an expensive thing in any part of the world. Anywhere you go, that's a very expensive undertaking. And therefore, what could we do in Trinidad and Tobago to create a balance between what we eat and our health and the healthcare system?
Correct.
Right? Think about it. Plenty of the things. If you walk into any grocery, not just here, but worse yet in the US, you walk into any 90% of the thing in the grocery, you should be eating.
But even when we are doing planting, a lot of this stuff we want to say is organic, but the level of chemicals that they're using.
But that might still be better than what you're
it's still better, but it's still happening. Pumping the chickens and so on with all these hormones.
The hormones and things. But 90% of the things that you see in the grocery, you shouldn't be eating.
Correct.
Right? It's full of sodium, it's full of all kind of things that
to preserve shelf life.
It's full of artificial things that are not good for you. But here what? Those are the things that sending us to the hospital, and we don't know that. So if the government, this is just my idea, I always say this, we could create a balance, we could fix this. Because if say corn kernels, you think you spend $5 and $10 and $20 for a child to eat, that will create a situation for him down the road, right? You buying that for your child and you eating that normal, you eating that as a snack.
Correct.
And them things are good for you eating poison, right? I just saying,
right?
If you want to eat poison, okay, so I go and tax you. Pay $50 for that little bag of poison you're buying there.
And you see, buy it again.
And here what? $45, that going to taxes. That going back to the government to take care of the hospitals. You don't think we go solve the problem?
To some extent.
You get first class. If you continue to buy it, if you have the money to buy it, we're going to get a first class health system if you take the money and you put it in there. I just say, right? And it might sound like a real draconian kind of communist kind of thinking, but that's what Lee Kuan Yew do. I mean, you think you could have just chew chewing gum in public in Singapore? You think you can still do that?
Wow.
Right? Those are the things. So we complain about these first world nations. Not America. America no way in that class. But you complain about these first world nations and what songs like autocratic. But
it's
you don't want to do
life
but you don't want to do the thing that they do. Right? You don't want to do the thing that China do to
measures.
Make their country great. Right? Those are the kind of policies that they would put in place. I could see them putting in place to protect the citizens and to protect everybody. Right? You want to buy that? No problem, you buy it.
Yeah.
But pay for it, pay plenty money for it. 3/4 of which goes back to the government to put back in the system to protect you, your sick bill when from that poison you eat it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
We have to have a different mindset where it comes to that, but I am telling you it's going to attract a lot of resistance.
Well, of course.
It is going to attract resistance because we have a comfort.
We are accustomed to what we call democracy, and
of course,
we feel that
democracy.
You talking democracy, but you want to be you still want free health? Huh? You can't talk that if you want free health still. If you want free health, you had to think that, hey, listen, you should be able to pay for it somehow, and something had to pay for it. So you can't want to eat what you want to eat, get sick, screw up your body, and then I had to pay for it still. It's not you paying for it, you know. It's all of us paying for it.
All right. So the general attitude to what we determine to be free, I mean, it's just one where people don't take care or they don't have an appreciation for it. For example, we had Gate Wide Open. Education is basically free. And what do people do with that? Why is it in 2025 we have some people who, seemingly normal, they don't have particular challenges that stops you from learning. And in this 2025, you are angry that somebody comes into our organization more qualified than you, and you are still there. So I'm saying we don't take care of what we have. It's the issue for me. You can put things in place. We have free health care, but as you rightly say, people eat in however they want because they could just run in the health center, right?
No, these passive means of persuasion for people to eat right and things, it seems not to be working because, I mean, if you go up Mount Hope right now, you'll see they're telling you, they're showing you all what you should eat, right? Big banner and that kind of thing, but who following that?
Who's following?
Nobody following that. So you had to make people feel it in the pocket. If you really want me to provide a perfect healthcare system for you, right? I have to make you responsible if you can't be responsible for yourself. And how do I do that? I tax you.
All right. But then on the next side, in the US, they pay for their insurance. Everything you basically have to pay for.
So you pay for it.
But they have a high level of obesity because the price of fast food is so cheap that, a lot of people
walk in. Who tell you fast food cheap? That was a long time. Fast food is cheaper again in the US.
All kind of dollar menu and all these things. But people look at their size. Look at their size.
That's a long time, but you're correct.
But their insurance is high.
But exactly, so they're paying for it. And
so it is still a mindset issue.
But it's the same thing, they're paying for it. And food not cheap in America
well,
again.
I mean, food
long
not
time,
cheap, but
long time it used to be. But the thing is, they're paying for it.
Yeah.
they're paying for what they're doing to the body. They're paying for the medical insurance and that kind of thing. We don't have that here. So we have it on one side. We allow you the freedom to eat what you want.
Yeah.
Buy what you want. Take with foreign reserve, foreign currency, and buy all the crap you're buying. Supermarkets, big supermarket chains bringing all kind of nonsense for you to eat, and you're buying it. Right? Because you want to look good. If you're going to grocery and you pick up a grocery and it come up to $3,000, now you happy, you smiling around everybody because you could pay $3,000. You could afford that. But it's $3,000 a crap you're going to eat.
It's not healthy foods. It's not there.
And nobody telling you nothing. So you're spending that, you're eating that.
Yep.
5, 6, 8 months down the road, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years down the road, you're sick like a dog. You have to go to the hospital. You're getting free medication. So you poison yourself and now we had to pay for it for you. Huh?
Mindset.
My solution to that, I just say my solution, right? Because in this a democratic country, people might have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But my solution for that is like what they would have done in Singapore. I'd make that very expensive for you to get. Very expensive. You could buy it, you know.
Yeah.
You have plenty money.
Yeah.
You want to buy corn
Pay
curls?
for it.
Right? You want to buy them thing, all them salty thing, them sweet drink and all that thing. You want to buy them thing? Pay $45 for a sweet drink.
You might guess what.
No, pay $45 for a sweet drink. And $65 for a pack of corn curls. Because those things are poison, in my opinion. Right? Just saying. Those things are poison. Sugar water and salty bread and all that kind of thing. Madness. Just saying. Let me take this. Mr. President. Mr. President.
Hey, all you on phone here. Yeah, I'm glad you keep me. Because your last statement really kind of realized. If I was the president, I already would have stole everything and continuing for what you say. Because in truth, when you talk about the Soviet, that's why you see these socialists. My brother Rolando, he's a psychologist. I am an ex-brother who is a philosopher. But you hold in all them subjects and Mr. Samario, no, I'm not going to I can get the right expression. But you're coming in nice too, right? But still, you're shooting it. Because the truth is, you're the socialist. And if, I want to put down some psyche on your head. If you're living in the existence, and then it's basically going to be the social existence.
Yes.
Right? But if you're living in a spiritual existence, then it wouldn't be in this existence, but your thought came from, where it came from, we don't know. But I think existence comes from thoughts. And if existence comes from thoughts, there is somewhere before here. Okay, we don't want to go down there in too much of that. But your socialist consciousness is really life. It is when you grab from the psychology and you grab from the philosophy, I could have turn it wrong, but you're making out the consciousness of reality with the existence that before you as you perceive. And you could expound. And we do expound out of our consciousness of the creator thought that put all existence for us to acknowledge and live with. There's a powerful consciousness in that thought. That when we look in for God, we are liars because God is in the nature of things. It teaches you. It guides you. It guards you. It disciplines you. If you know what you feel if you put your hand in fire and take a burning, but nobody could not tell you about that because you experience it. Wow. Plenty of we had to talk by Stephen, but you got social. Good, I mean. But you have that consciousness, and you know philosophy, and you know psychology. Although we have on top of your day with something. I use it for a while. I know, I'm doing no best. But you're going well. And I have plenty to hand you while you're talking and help me out. I'll go hand you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, so I was saying that, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to let me take this call. Yeah, good evening, caller. Hello? Caller, you're live?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. You're live?
Yes. Umpire?
Yes. I'm hearing you.
You're
in our
good evening. Good evening. You were speaking about putting the prices up for the people not to buy and get sick. And all how you are speaking, I haven't heard yet, you see, you talk about stats and things. But what you have to do It's the alcohol and cigarette prices that has to go down. And I'm sure that would never happen, because no matter what happened in Trinidad, I have not seen a rum shop closed down and out of service in my entire life in Trinidad. Closed down. Break up all places in Port of Spain with hardly a door. And it's a rum shop. It's open. People buy cigarettes like they buy sweetie.
Correct.
And what contributes to lung cancer and all kind of thing? I remember when lung cancer, that's why they put the thing on cigarettes, I think, about this is against the Surgeon General.
Disclaimer, yeah.
Because the world did not want cigarettes because that was causing it. But the factories that's making it say, what all the world power, they couldn't have moved as somebody in Trinidad or any part of the world buying a cigarette. They couldn't do that. You know why? Because they have to make the money. So they put a little thing on the package, and then they talk about the rum, the alcohol, that besides you being sick, it kills people. Drunk driving. Okay? It's a big thing. Many people talk about this one die and people die and who kill who. Drunk driving kills so many people. And that is a norm. You know why? Because everybody is adhere to drinking and smoking. That's right. Right? Then all the fast foods, all the places that it is no good. But the poor people, who they call poor, and of course they're out of a job and people not working. But I have never seen any fast food outlet closed down. None. Well, things that I see and know. Right? So I'm saying it's one way, Matheson, to speak about, you must put up the prices for this and that, which I agree. I don't agree about putting up the prices, but I'm talking about you shouldn't buy for your children if it's it's not healthy. Okay? You for yourself. We are not. Why is getting like we are?
Caller, what will, if you're saying don't buy it for your children, what will be the disincentive to do that?
No, I'm not saying don't.
For your children.
Because
it's not healthy for your children, right? So what will be a good disincentive for the government to use will be the price of it. Because at the end of the day...
Excuse me. See, that part, yes. If you want to say that's your way, fine. All I'm saying is I am not buying. Nothing could make me buy snacks and things for my children or grandchildren. If they want to buy it for themselves or their mother parent, fine. I don't. Okay?
All right. Okay.
I'm not, but all I'm saying is, even if the government, why people just have to wait till the government do anything? Why? You don't know it's not good. You just say it's not. You have to put up a price for you not to buy it because it's unhealthy and it will get you sick. You don't know that. People don't know that. And let me tell you, no matter how much you put up a price for something, Matheson, right?
But
they will get it because they'll rather go.
Well, we wanted to buy it still, you know. We wanted to buy it still.
Why you must want to buy it?
Well, if you listen to my thesis, you would hear that my thesis is the cost of health is very expensive. And if you buying it, that is what will pay for it. So no, allow me to make my point. If it is your will that you must buy it, buy the poison to eat it, and then when you get sick, I have to pay for it, then I could make you pay for it before I had to pay for it. That's how I'm making you pay for it.
Also, you're going around.
So call us again. Yeah? So what I'm saying is that if this is not rocket science. This is not measures and philosophy that hasn't been practiced in other first world nations, first world countries. Singapore, for example, is a perfect example of it. They practice that.
If you want to feed your vices, you'll have to pay for it.
If you want to kill yourself, right, by eating all them things, then pay heavy taxes for it so that we can now take that taxes and put it in the healthcare system to protect you, to save you when you get sick. No, we know nobody will do that because that's a very unpopular. That's a very unpopular thing. But sometimes it's the same thing they use with cigarette and alcohol. By the way, cigarette and alcohol is very expensive in Trinidad, and it's the same. That's the same
people
philosophy.
Pay for it.
But people pay for it. So I'm saying we could. Maybe we should talk about all the good things for you.
Now the cost of healthy foods is quite expensive.
No, it isn't.
No,
listen.
If you want to go to certain types of diet, some of those
all
things
of us, we live in the Caribbean, all of us have a little space in the backyard. We could plant a little okra, a little sweet peppers. If you see why you don't mind me.
Yeah, but everybody don't have that kind of space. Remember now, a lot of people throwing up apartment buildings, they're going up. Where are you going to have these spaces to plant? Not everybody has these space. So is what I'm saying.
If in the neighborhood somebody plants, I plant this and your butter, I plant sweet peppers, and you plant that okra.
Community relationship, you could put little measures in place, but it wouldn't be for everybody to do.
If the government were to just listen to us, right?
Yeah, if someone comes
and
with a plan.
foster a system, a community of thinking where food could be planting food could be so much cheaper. And those things, those same ideas what I'm giving you could be much more expensive, right? To take care of the healthcare system, it would be better. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller. You alive?
Hi, Matheson.
Yes, good evening.
All I'm saying, Matheson, is if your premise is that you put taxes, let's say me, for me to buy, for me not to buy, right? And I still buy it. It could be $1 million. I'll go naked, go hungry and buy it. I'm just saying, no matter what and you say you collect my money, you're also collecting my bad body. So now you are collecting the money because there are some people who that sounds good and they mightn't buy it. All I'm saying, there are people who, Matheson, there are people who can't afford certain brand name clothes, some of the poorest people, and they have clothes that you don't buy. Do you know that? You wouldn't buy, right? But they buy it. They take the money, whatever money, the whole salary, and buy a shoe with it. And that happens, I should see it. That happens, right? So even let us say they buy it. So if they buy it, you're going to, let us say buy it and put a high taxes. So you're also getting the bad body too. So yes, you're getting the money to fix a system, packed with all the people who decide to buy the thing, so it's overcrowded or whatever it is. So what are you doing? That's not stopping the sickness,
right.
Or the people buying it. That's what I'm telling you. If it's stopping, fine. Not Trinidad, then I'm telling you. Carnival is there.
Well, we live in what people like to call a free country, and people should be free to buy what they want to buy, eat what they want to eat, and drink what they want to drink. And the system has always been like that. We live in a free world. So I think if you ban it, that might be a good thing. But a better solution might be, because it is causing sickness, it is causing unhealthy situations,
right.
And as a result, I don't know if you're listening to my thesis, if you're understanding what I'm saying. As a result, it's just like insurance, right? The many pay for the few that will get ill, or the few that will die. That's the concept of insurance. It's the same thing I'm saying. If the government would see these health situations just like you see cigarette and alcohol, and put taxes on it, levies on it, so that when you buy it, we know you will buy it, we know you want it, we know you like it, but we know you don't know, you either know or you don't know that it will get you sick. But when it gets you sick, you have to go in the hospital, you have to go and expend on our healthcare system for which we're paying a lot of money for. That extra money we taxing you on could go to pay that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That is the thesis. That's what I'm saying exactly.
But you're right. That thesis sounds good. What I'm trying to tell you, if it goes like what you say, and it got me to buy, not to buy, and put higher taxes, right? Let me tell you something. Cigarettes and alcohol is the fastest selling things. I have a friend who have a shop. And I say, wait, there's only cigarettes and alcohol you sell?
But that's what we say. Then we happy about that. If corn-curls and soft drink,
expensive. You just said it's expensive.
If corn-curls and soft drink becomes a fast seller and you're paying plenty money for it, we happy. We making more taxes. We have more money to run the hospitals. That's what I'm saying.
With the sick people, and more sick people too.
No problem with that. We are the same among the sick people. As a matter of fact, we might have less sick people because less people might be able to afford it.
You think it's Trinidad? Listen, Matterson, listen to me. All I'm telling you is Trinidadians are dealing with, and they will pay whatever price for it. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is that is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. We happy to pay more. We get more money.
Sick. Remember, it's also getting them sick.
But it's getting them sick anyway. If it's cheap and the more people will buy it, so they'll get sick anyway.
I don't see that, but anyway. Bye-bye.
All right, yeah. But see, more you understand. I know you wouldn't. Most people wouldn't agree with it.
Everybody wouldn't agree with it.
Yeah, because it's a kind of autocratic kind of policy. But sometimes you need to save people from themselves.
Absolutely, but you know what? There are people who would say, "Boy, that snack parlor
saved
my life when the day comes."
That's what that's what they do with cigarette and alcohol, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, as I was saying before, I was interrupted by the caller. I was saying that the other side of that is it makes the things that are needed and necessary cheaper,
more affordable, and that's what
I'm
saying. Make it more affordable. I am saying, okay, if we were to look on a minimum wage salary or something, the average salary probably say 4,000.
Shouldn't be able to buy conkers and sweet biscuits and things.
On an average, how much out of that salary can you use to go market every week and get the things that make you healthy?
I don't know.
Is all I'm saying.
Well, you're much younger than I am, but I remember. Just a couple of years ago, when you go in the market on a Sunday with $50, you coming home with plenty more than you could think with, for your whole family.
Not happening right now.
For the weekend,
Not happening.
But it happen again.
So, and that's the point I'm making. So the small man on the street go say, well, that little custard cream and that solo go pull me through until, but you know, to go and spend what $40 a pound for tomato. And all of these things is difficult for some.
Let me take this call. Good evening, caller.
I just keep going to be consistent, lady. And I can remember at one time to slow down the importation of cars because we were bringing in. I think the NAR was in office. One of the NAR.
Good point. I remember that well.
The NAR just came into office. And we had a problem that we have right now with US dollars.
And we was manufacturing cars at the time.
And we was assembling cars here. Not manufacturing.
Yeah, we was assembling cars.
Assembling cars here. And the government decided, in order to slow down the Forex leaving the country, everybody driving the same car.
But it's not different from what the US is doing anyway with the tariffs. It's not different from what
buy a car over 2,000 cc. Your car was to stay under 2,000 cc. So everybody had a Presida. If you could afford a GL Presida, or you buy a Bluebird, or you buy a Gia Cortina. Crown and Royal Saloon and Super Saloon was rest on the side. And that helped build back our economy to where we get it from Robinson. And I believe that's it. If you look at Trinidad and Tobago right now with our transportation system, everybody have a car that's going more or less in the same direction. That's why I ask, what is the vision for this administration, Trinidad and Tobago? Because they, last year was arguing, you know, we spending X amount of hours per day, they total it for the year. How many hours or days for the week we spend in traffic for an entire year? And I'm asking myself, isn't that the same people who tell me to throw away Mr. Manning's transformation plan and no train? They didn't want no train. But now we are sucking up all our Forex in a ton load of motor cars. According to you, a smoke are going in the hospital, the former Minister of Health tell them you are going on, you have to slow down on the amount of sugar you eat, the amount of fast food you eat. That was said to the population, but nobody takes them on. And if you increase the cost of any one of those products, I could send home everybody, or I could close down the company. And if I close down the company and I send home a few thousand people, a group of people would make noise for them, same people. So according to you, who gonna build the cat, brother?
Well,
Enjoy your evening.
You're so correct. You're so correct. But and that's basically what we're saying. And you know, the thing is, it wouldn't it maybe there are ways to do it. Good evening, caller.
Hey, I got it to my brother and my sister in the studio here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I realized? I realized everybody is so intellect about Forex and cars and prices and this and that. And they just put in the cap before the horse. One person is conscious. You know who is conscious? This is President Villager. That is what we have to get to. That is what the conversation we have to be carrying on. How to penetrate the ears of the politicians. Because we just in a poem and we is victim. They put you on a one-way street and we're going straight to the cliff and laughing. And we're walking into a cliff and laughing. And talking all kind of intellect about this and that and balance and this and that and all kind of things. And we're not talking about how we will start to do what we want to, what we put. Because at the end of the day, my friend, they say kings ride, kings walk, white servants ride camel. And that's what's going on right now. You understand? And we just laughing. We just walking over cliff and laughing at one. We've been used to we've been used to we've been and calling with one another. And we just how we in a bubble. And we're not getting serious about when to come off that trip. You understand? Because it costs me a lot, you know. It costs me a lot. We just sitting along and walking that road and it costs me a lot. You understand?
And we even realize, you're correct, we even realize what's happening to us. Until it happens, until we buy La Perouse or whatever.
Yeah, that's the truth that be right in front of we, you know. But we're so blind, you can't just see it. You understand? The truth right in front of we, and people just walking and going and laughing at one another, all kind of stripping it and talking about Forex and this and that. The whole thing about this situation is to know when to get off for that trip. You understand? And start putting substance to the evidence we cannot see. My friend, you don't see evidence in even Parliament and no evidence, no papers. This minister, no papers, nothing. You have to start putting substance to that because I will tell you something. Justice delay is justice doubt because we doubt in justice, you know. But justice, my friend, need no witness. It just needs willingness. You have to be willing to do the right thing. President Villager, I go to you, my friend. Have a good day, all everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, what is your take on everything?
I hear what he's saying. And I could understand how he would reach to that perspective. That's all I could say.
Okay, well, what do you think about my thesis and how we could, just make things cheaper for people to survive, and the way to do it is to invest in things like agriculture. We tend to see what the budget will say.
Yeah.
Right?
That's investment.
It's so critical for us to look at agriculture. Some of us, I don't know if everybody's seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
If we could feed ourselves at least with the most important things that we need to eat, like how it used to be a long time, right? We'll have less need for all that stuff, foreign exchange, to buy all that crappy buying.
I mean, to me, you also need to have the issue in front of people's faces. Now, for me, what kind of turned me away from high sugar consumption was when I had to visit a relative in the hospital that got both legs amputated. So for me, that was my moment to say, okay, let me deal with this.
And you know, almost everything have sugar, boy.
Almost everything. But
rice,
when was the last time you were in visit hospital? You know, if you think about it that way, when was the last time you walked on a ward or had somebody to visit and you actually see the suffering of people on these wards?
Yeah.
And it will give you a real perspective that I need to take control of my health. Because if something happens to you, are you willing to go and scrub bench, as we like to say in Trinidad?
Yeah.
What happens if you
have
don't
no money,
have the insurance?
You have nothing, but you're still eating all the wrong things that will kill you quick.
So it's one thing to say we charge people extra to buy those things, but it's Trinis. You remember when bread went up to what, $17? People quarrel for like 2 seconds,
All
but
them
then you
time,
say I had to live.
Yeah.
Right?
But you
But
gotta live for that, boy.
people have to. Well,
low glycemic.
right, but that personal change has to come from within. You have to put that information before them. We have social media. Bring those things in a health campaign and show people the effects of eating poorly. Diabetes is a serious thing.
Blood pressure is a serious. And
it's very
those
serious.
are two things we call it, diabetes and blood pressure. That will affect almost everybody in Trinidad and Tobago.
So for me, if we have those campaigns, those communication campaigns, we should be able to help the situation. But sometimes you only see it around carnival time. The fitness burnout, eat healthy for carnival. But what happens after?
Correct.
Christmas is a high, coming down to the end of the year, let me say it that way, high eating period. We go right into Diwali. A lot of people concentrating on the roti and all of these
Let me
things.
take this caller quick. Yeah. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. I understand the lady's point. I understand your point. But when I grew up, I didn't know about going in the shop or when they give me my 5 cents to go to school, there was nothing in our pack. You go by the lady, she dips the spoon and she gave some tamban, whatever she make with little sugar in a piece of plastic. Or, right? She gave a tamban ball, she gave a piece of sugar cake. Everything came in either a brown bag or they put it on top, not in a plastic bag.
Homemade, natural made, yeah.
Nothing was produced, mass produced to stay on the shelf for 6 months, and I eating that. But my children, ain't know nothing about that. I pick up my daughter and we go on me around and stop by a coconut man and I say, hey, drink a coconut. She ain't drinking that from the nut at all. But if I pull up in the supermarket and buy one in a bottle that's inside of there for over 7 days,
exactly.
she drinking that.
Exactly.
So how are we to change? Because it is market to them.
That's right.
So how are you to change? Because they grow up with it, you know.
That's
now,
right.
Long time we go into school with a bottle of water in we bag. Now, you have to get them $10 to buy the water, buy the
But not even that, long time we went school, recess time.
You're drinking water from the pipe?
You're going by a big trough, like a trough, and everybody drinking water.
7, 8 pipe line up and everybody line up in a line to drink water from the pipe.
Yes, from the pipe, and the juice is so nice.
No, you can't tell them that. If you tell them that, you're telling them poison trend. Not the same water?
Yep.
Well, enjoy the evening.
No, what to me like water, you said it's real nice and that is, just saying.
Absolutely.
No, but yeah, I mean,
measures. How we did things back then is not how we do it now.
We don't necessarily have to go back to then.
Correct.
But we could think, right? Yeah. We don't necessarily go back to them. We could think.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know. I mean, I wish if the politician would just listen, maybe to what I just say. I don't have all the answers, but you could tweak somehow what I say, because it's the same thing they did with cigarette and alcohol. Cigarette and alcohol, by the way, is very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not as expensive as it is in other places, right? It's very expensive here, but those things are heavily taxed.
Correct.
Right? They could do the same thing with some of the things that are not good for you.
Yeah. Find a way.
And that will be revenue. All the lost revenue that you're thinking, that'll be the same revenue you're getting to be able to build the hospital, fix the hospital, put medication in the hospital all the time and all that. But people will still buy it, you know, by the way. As the female caller would have indicated. People will still buy it. Right? But they will be paying more for it now. And I just saying, it really stop the manufacturing, is it? Soft drink, people love that. That's addiction. Sugar is an addiction. Just like cocaine.
So it's, for me, it's all about mindset, how you appreciate the systems that are in place to care for you, and how you just manage what you have.
I went by a doctor sometime in you remember when you was going UV?
Yeah, you had to do the medical.
Right.
Yeah.
And she asked me, this doctor asked me in number one Woodwork place, she asked me if I put sugar in my salt in my rice. And I say, yeah. And she said, you must try not putting in salt in your rice. And eat it, and after a few days doing that, you'll realize that your rice is in the same way. You know, after that I never put salt in my rice again. Rice is normal, same way. And it's the same thing, I don't drink tea with sugar and thing again. If I want something sweet,
coming along there.
If I
try
want,
honey.
Yeah, alright, you know what I'm saying. If I want something sweet, I get some honey, with honey. Or
and then use that.
You know, I drink my tea just so. But these are the things that you have to tell people. All the right thing to eat. If you want to carry down your blood sugar, drink beetroot juice every morning. Yep. That's cheap. And if
things we could
just
do.
so, just beetroot juice, just blend it and drink it, or juice it and drink it. Beetroot juice, your sugar going down in about 2 weeks. No more not sugar, hear me. Pressure.
Pressure
going down in about 2 weeks. And the thing is, all these things are things that are available to us.
Correct.
Cheap, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be coming back to you tomorrow on the last day of the week, 2 hours. And we look forward to hearing you tomorrow. For now, we'll be leaving you.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. For the program, God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and